just having the most idyllic holiday, weren't we? We were really, really grateful. Reuben was having a great time. So we got up in the morning and he had a little fall. Nothing untoward, nothing different than normal. He just had a little bang to the head. But he became very pale quite suddenly. We took him to Barnstable, didn't we, to the A&E department. And again, nobody was unduly worried, you know, like we thought that he'd had a virus. But then, unfortunately, he failed to respond to some routine tests. He went for a CT scan and immediately on returning from that scan, they started to sedate him.
Yeah.
And they sat us down within the hour and just told us the most dreadful news that they'd found a mass on his brain that they suspected was a tumour. He was airlifted that night to Frenchay, to the neurological unit.
In Bristol.
In Bristol, and we followed by car.
So we knew he was having an operation whilst we were driving up there, and once we arrived he was still having the operation, they were just finishing off.
They'd found a tumour that was 5 centimetres in depth and diameter.
Basically it was the size of a satsuma in his little brain. I mean, he was only 23 months and the size of a satsuma, you can imagine how big it must have been.
Yeah, and then the next morning we got down to the intensive care unit to find that through the night he'd taken a turn for the worst. His organs had started to fail. On the Friday he was moved from Frenchay to Bristol Royal Children's Hospital to give his organs a chance to fight back and get to the strength that they needed to be in order for them to do the big operation. We were surrounded by family and friends, godparents, and we experienced the Click House, didn't we, for one night. And that was a real splendid home from home for families of children with cancers and leukemias, and that was to be a turning point for our journey, because around that time we also discovered that due to the tumour being a cancerous, rare aggressive cancerous tumour, we wouldn't be able to donate his organs. The next day a meeting was held that there was no fight to be had. Reuben was really up against it. He had this huge tumour that we'd subsequently just found out was cancerous. It was a very rare, very aggressive cancer. He'd arrested not once but twice, and he had multiple organ failure. And in isolation, I don't doubt for 1 minute that Reuben couldn't have survived one of those. However, collectively, he didn't have a chance, not even a 1% chance to survive. Talked in the hospital about setting up a charity, and she'd come up with the name Reuben's Retreat. Our mission is to open a retreat in the countryside, not far from Manchester, not far from Reuben's hometown of Mottram, because there's beautiful scenery around here, and what we will be doing is families who are suffering, have got a child suffering with a life-limiting or life-threatening illness, will be able to come to the retreat for respite breaks. So it's really, really hard when children are suffering with cancer and so on to go on holiday and so on. So they'll be able to come to relax, to recharge, to rebuild and to remember. By July 2014, our goal is to have reached a minimum of £1 million. We've got a massive team of supporters out there. We call them Virtual Team Reuben. So we've got people all over the country doing things for us. So if you think you've got anything, no matter how small, that can help us, please get in touch. We've had people donate bottles of champagne. We're having people donate the country cottages. We've got all kinds of things coming in, and we will utilise everything that we have to raise funds to take us to Reuben's Retreat as soon as we can. Thank you so much, everybody, and keep it going.